Well, Ulysses, I think it's the first time or one of the first times that we're doing this. We're going live. We're doing it live on the YouTubes.
Yes, we are. Let's see if this works out. If this goes okay, this is our test run at 11:26 p.m. on a Thursday. Let's see how this goes, and maybe we can try it with some actual people. Yeah, that'd be nice.
We've got a lot to talk about. Mailbag episode on a Thursday late evening going into Friday.
You are Locked On Rays, your daily Tampa Bay Rays podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, my name is Kevin Weiss.
I'm Ulises Sambrano.
And we are the host of the Locked On Rays podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Thank you for making us your very first listen every day. Be sure to check out and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Locked On Rays. You can also find us on the social medias X and Instagram at Locked On Rays as well. And we are accepting mailbag questions all the time, lockedonrays@gmail.com. In fact, we are doubling up this week on the mailbag questions because we got so many good ones. And frankly, it's the off season. We're not fans of the Braves, the Rangers, the Astros, or the Diamondbacks, although I think we're all secretly rooting for Evan Longoria and the Diamondbacks to go all the way. So, and I'm sure we'll have dribs and drabs of playoff discussion as that goes along. But in the meantime, we have Rays baseball to talk about and mailbag questions to get to. This first one from Alex Garcia says, do you think around the All-Star break / end of the season, once our rotation has a few more guys join like Rasmussen and Springs, that we could run a 6-man rotation around guys like Glasnow, Eflin, Savali, Boz, Rasmussen, Springs? Even guys like Taj Bradley and Josh Fleming, fingers crossed all those guys can stay healthy, of course, in 2024.
Well, thank you for writing to us. That's number one. Number two, I'm glad that you ended that with hopefully they all stay healthy and didn't just stop at number 5. Obviously, the question is about the 6-man rotation because now we know after a lot of baseball, especially after all the talk about what could the rotation could be in 2023, and then it all went to dust because of injuries. I really would like to not hear anybody in Rays fandom say, but look at our top 5. Isn't it great, man? Mm-hmm. Enough of that. I don't want to see those tweets. If I see those tweets, I'm going to text Elon and say, hey, can you make up a thumbs down button so I can legitimately just use it for this type of tweet?
Yeah. Well, they're actually not tweets anymore. They're post or repost, correct? So the verbiage, the language has changed.
God,
I'm Xing now.
I'm Xing. Yeah, you got to X. Look, I don't think they would go to a 6-man rotation. I think they would honestly, they would go back to the opener. I think that's what they would try to do. But this all kind of hinges also on what do you do with Tyler Glasnow, man?
That's the $1 million question, or the $25 million question. Because let's also put it into perspective that Tyler Glasnow, of course, everything being equal, if the Rays brought back everybody that is arbitration eligible, which we know, of course, isn't going to happen, the payroll is projected at like $115, $120 million. So there's going to be fat that gets cut. But with Glasnow, $25 million this upcoming season, let's put in context. He made 21 starts this season and pitched the most regular season innings of his career at 120. He didn't make his first start until May 27th. So he literally missed the first 2 months of the year, basically to the dot.
Yeah.
And this was a career post for him in terms of output innings. So I just find it hard to believe that the Rays are going to pay this guy $1 million a start.
So wait, his previous high was 110
in the regular season, correct?
In the regular season, yeah. And then so this year, how many more innings than 110?
10 more. basically, at 120.
Man, it's I'm sure somebody would love to have Tyler Glasnow for $25 million, where $25 million isn't 18% of their payroll.
Right.
I think that they would like that. Do the Rays feel comfortable with giving Tyler Glasnow $25 million in a budget that's 110 mil, 120 mil? I think they would be sweating, but I think they would. Honestly, I think there's little by little, there's been a little bit of changing of past practices. You are seeing a little bit more freedom with money, starting with Charlie Morton. And then, you do the Wander Franco deal, you do the Brooks Raley deal, you do the Zach Eflin deal. You put Tyler Glasnow into this $25 million a year. You gave Manuel Margot an extension. You gave Yandy Springs Fairbanks an extension. That has been moving on, but it's not only about the money too. It's been like, how are you treating your prospects? Curtis Mead, pretty quick ascension into MLB. Now that he's in MLB, you can look back and be like, well, he really didn't spend that much time in AAA, to be honest. And Junior Caminero spent no time in AAA. And Wander Franco, I think, had enough time to get to know a croissant place, and then he was up in MLB. Like, there's been
Carson Williams. He's moved very quickly.
So you've seen how this organization has kind of shifted little by little in a lot of different ways, so that we can't just think money, that means they're going to say no. I think we can kind of deviate and say, does it make sense? Does it make sense? And do $25 million make sense for Tyler Glasnow in a rotation that if you take him out, Kevin, if you take out Tyler Glasnow, that rotation, I'm sorry, does not scream, oh my gosh, I'm so scared. It's Eflin, Civale, Littell, Bradley, and Boz.
Yeah.
I'm a Rays fan as much as anybody, but Eflin, Civale, Littell, Bradley, Boz is not scaring anybody. I'm sorry. It's a good rotation. It's solid if it's healthy, but it's not out of this world.
Yeah. I would just say this. I think the Rays will accept and field calls on Tyler Glasnow. It doesn't necessarily mean that he's absolutely going to be traded. The deal has to be there. I think they're prepared and would be okay with paying him. But if there's something that comes along the pipeline that they're like, okay, great pitching prospect and an Aaron Civale-esque starter, I could see them making the move and pulling the trigger on that. As to Alex's question about a 6-man rotation, I'm with you on, maybe playing around with the opener or tandem starts. I mean, Rasmussen and Springs are going to be ready by mid-season at the earliest, and it's probably going to be a slow, methodical workload for them. It's not, I don't think anyway, that it's, all right, they're back with the Rays, go out and throw them for 5 1/3, 5 2/3, 6 innings. It's going to be 2-3 innings. I mean, there's even been scuttlebutt about Rasmussen just moving to a relief role for the foreseeable future as he gets back going healthy. And the other thing too is with the 6-man rotation, I don't know how much you want to throw off Tyler Glasnow and Eflin and Civale off that schedule that they've been so used to in their career. Like, I would think you want to give Eflin, Civale, Glasnow, when healthy, that extra handful of starts instead of taking those away from them. You want. I mean, there's positives and negatives with the 6-man rotation, but I would think that you want to give your best starters as many opportunities as possible, and you just don't do that, and you're just not able to do that with the 6-man thing.
I mean, yeah, and that's to your point. I think that they would do then the shortened outing. They would do hey, let's just call it off after 4 innings today, or 3 innings. They've done that with Jeffrey Springs and Drew Rasmussen in the past, and so that's what I think they would do. Now, to get everybody on the same page here, Drew Rasmussen and Jeffrey Springs will not be available to pitch in a Rays uniform until August of 2024.
Yeah, they're going to miss at least the first half of 2024. And that's,
It's a chunk.
fan setbacks.
Yeah. So don't be like, well, maybe, not maybe. It's August.
Right.
It's August. And when it's August, it's like, think of the Tyler Glasnow progression that he had in 2022. The first outing, 3 innings. Second outing, 4 innings. Third outing, 5 innings. That's how it's going to be for both Jeffrey Springs and Drew Rasmussen if they remain in that role. Because if, let's say, the rotation is just doing fine and dandy, but, well, they both have been bullpen arms. Maybe you can treat them as bullpen arms in August and say, hey, you know what? We just need a couple innings here today. And then they become the new Brooks Raley / Jalen Beeks /
Colin
Wade
McHugh.
Davis of the past. Colin McHugh. Yes, exactly.
No, I think that's fair. It'll be interesting to see how it all shakes up. As to Alex's point again, you would assume that Taj Bradley would make strides. He didn't mention Zach Littell, but I think that the Rays would certainly consider and be okay with bringing him back at a projected $1.7 million in arbitration. Josh Fleming, I don't know. I don't know if they're willing or ready to pay $1 million to him, but I mean, when 50% of your pitching staff gets hurt or injured at some point, you need arms, you need bodies. And I think that they'll probably play a little bit in free agency as well with, bringing in a veteran or two, the Brooks Raley-esque, the Colin McHugh-esque, somebody maybe not to that profile, but you're going to need bodies at the end of the day. So good question from Alex. I think we handled that one. We have more to discuss, Ulises, but first we have to tell the audience something extremely important.
The MLB playoffs are here. So that means that the clock is ticking on your chance to win 100 times your cash on daily fantasy baseball. Baseball has never been more exciting than it is now, with studs in the playoffs like Jordan Alvarez, for example, right? Corey Seager, Corbin Carroll, Bryce Harper. My goodness, that guy's clutch. Well, you can pick more or less on stats for these stars, like home runs, hits, strikeouts, and more for up to 100 times the payout on Sleeper. Get your picks right, and you could win big. So today, do not delay. Use promo code LOCKEDON. That's LOCKEDON, and you'll get up to a $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's term of use for details. Guys, again, use promo code LOCKED on LOCKEDON, and you'll get up to a $100 match on your first deposit. Go download Sleeper today.
What's crazy is you brought up Bryce Harper. He's only 30 years old. That's amazing. Seems like he's been in the league for 15 years, which, I mean, I know it hasn't been 15, but it's been 12. So
my God,
he's you're watching a Hall of Famer, of course.
Yes, 100%.
So just an absolute gamer for sure. Good for the game of baseball. All right, this next question from Nathan Winsett, titled "Balls and Called Strikes versus the Rangers." Kevin and Ulises, I enjoyed the show and listened to your first post-mortem show, game 1 and 2, below from Baseball Savant Game Feed Illustrator. I know the Rays had errors and such, but this discrepancy in strike zone seems very significant and strikingly unfair, and it has a compounding effect on pitchers and hitters at bats that has a huge impact throughout the game. I thought it could add to the discussion. For each game, I made an image of balls and an image of called strikes for each team. I love the Rays this season. I'm amazed they notched 99 wins, and it was a joy to watch them. They provided a lot of unexpected hope. I'm disappointed they didn't overcome their obstacles in the postseason like they did in the regular season. Thanks for what you all do with the podcast. So,
thanks, Nathan.
Yeah, Nathan, I think the first time, or one of the first times that he's reached out to us, and based on his area code here, I'm not going to give out his phone number, but in the Southwest Florida purview. So shout out there. I venture down to Cape Coral every once in a while. The balls and strike calls, Ulises, you're probably more in tune to that than I was. during the course of those playoff games, but I can just say that looking back, I don't know if we were really harping on the umpires or blaming the umpires for the Rays' struggles. We were more so just saying you got to find a way to get a run on the board in game 1, game 2, and you can't go up, combine 2 for 13 or whatever with runners in scoring position over the course of the 2 games. And
yeah,
and I actually went a step further than Nathan. So he took a lot of screenshots in that email, which we appreciate. But I just went to the old umpire scorecards on social media and found the grades and the rankings from each respective home plate umpire.
Okay.
I don't know if you want me to share that with you, and we can kind of talk through it there.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Hit me with that.
So game 1, Carlos Torres was the ump in the Rangers 4-0 win over the Rays. And the overall favor is plus 0.46 runs for Texas. The impactful missed calls were the bottom of the second, Montgomery to Margot, 0 outs, runner on first, 0-0 count, ball is called a strike. Bottom of the 7th, Montgomery to Caminero, 2 outs, runner on first, 2-1 count, ball is called a strike. And then the top of the 4th, Glass now to Simeon, 2 outs, runners on second and third, 1-0 count, ball is called a strike.
Yeah, I mean,
the called ball accuracy was 98%. The called strike accuracy 82%.
Yeah, I mean,
That's game 1.
Those 2 pictures, if you're following on YouTube, I think Luke Raley wants you to hit that like button. Hit that like button right now. That's Luke Raley. He needs you to do that. The called strikes. I did comment on this after the first game that Jordan Montgomery was getting that outside corner just called each and every single time. And then when you look at the disparity between the Tampa Bay called strikes, you see that outside corner for righties or inside for lefties. Very few calls outside the zone. I can see a slider and I can see a curveball outside. But when you look at Texas, look at all of those pitches outside of the zone to righties that were called a strike. I mean, you got a plethora of different pitches there. I mean, you got changeups, you got sliders, sinkers, curveball. So this one is a big discrepancy, and it goes to show you, that 82% called strike rate, it's very low because he was missing all of these calls.
Mm-hmm. And then game 2, Trip Gibson was the home plate umpire in the Rangers 7-1 win over Tampa Bay. The overall favor was plus 0.09 runs for Texas. Overall accuracy, 96%. Overall consistency, 97%. Called ball accuracy, 98%. Called strike accuracy, 93%. The impactful missed calls from that game. Top of the 6th, Poche to Taveras, 0 outs, bases empty, 0-2 count, strike is called a ball. Top of the 6th, Poche to Grossman, 2 outs, runner on second, 0-0 count, ball is called a strike. And then top of the 8th, Littell to Seager, 2 outs, runner on first, 0-0 count, ball is called a strike. So yeah, I mean, I get what Nathan's saying, and I think there is some merit there, but at the end of the day, I'm not here to blame the umpires for the Rays' offensive ineptitude and defensive ineptitude and overall ineptitude over the course of the Wildcard Series. And, it's one of those things where, you have to learn and react quickly to what a particular umpire's zone is. What are they going to call? If it's outside and it's going to get called a strike, you better be prepared to put a swing on it. So I think there's some of that. Also, I don't know. I just try not to pay too much attention to the ball strike calls, except, sometimes when it's absolutely terrible and egregious like a couple years ago, I believe in the ALDS when Wander Franco really got jobbed. He would get jobbed on occasion, but the strike zone box, it's not as
it's an average.
symmetrical. It's not. And here's the thing, like you have lefties and righties who are different sizes. Josh Lowe's strikeout zone is different than Rene Pinto's.
You don't even have to go that far.
Yeah.
Watch a Yankees-Astros game, and then you'll see the strike zone be the same thing for Aaron Judge to Jose Altuve. That makes no sense.
Yeah.
So I understand what Nathan is saying, and for game one, I agree on the called strikes. Okay. I agree 100% on the called strikes on game one. 100%. I saw it. You're right, Nathan. On game two, I don't really see it, and I think the umpire scorecard, which right here, Mike is saying, is there a website that tracks umpires and their tendencies? Yeah, it's scorecards, right?
Yeah, scorecards, and there might be another outlet or site out there. That's, again, I've never paid that much attention to it, but I think if you dig deep enough, you could find something. I know there have been some very comprehensive studies on the impacts of umpires in the playoffs on how many games are won or lost and so forth there. But yeah, that's about all I got with that, and maybe here's the other thing is, the Rays have a lot of young players and rookies playing, so maybe they don't get the benefit of the doubt of a guy who's more experienced and long in the tooth and, who has that pedigree like a Wander Franco or Brandon Lau of, okay, he laid off that pitch. Maybe that is a ball. Maybe I won't call that a strike. So maybe there's some of that, that interaction there. Look, I would have been more upset and outraged, in the ball strikes category if the Rays lost
4-2
both of these games by
4-3
or 2 runs, but
yeah,
it wasn't really that close in either instance. So
yeah,
that's what I got for that. All right, but good question though. Always interesting to focus on and discuss, but you gotta react very quickly to whatever these guys are going with. I don't know. Did you feel like there was a consistency? I mean,
on the first game, yes.
Okay.
On the first game, it was late. But again, second game, I was doing my best from the left field.
Oh yeah, you were at the game. I forgot.
Yeah, to amp up the people around me.
There we go. All right. We have one more mailbag question to get to, but first we have to tell you this: October baseball is back, and you can make your postseason debut with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Join FanDuel today, and you'll get started with $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. Just visit FanDuel.com/LOCKEDON, locked on, to create your new account. Then you can get in on the action from the first pitch until the final out. Bet on everything from strikeouts to home runs to who will win the dang game. And if you don't want to wait the whole game to get the W, predict what will happen in the next at-bat with quick bets. So head over to FanDuel.com/LockedOn right now. Step up to the plate this postseason with $200 in bonus bets guaranteed. Make every moment more with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of Major League Baseball. Let me just put this out of the way, Ulises. I do like doing this live show every now and again where we can see these questions and comments and react to them as such. So that's kind of a nice change of pace from our normal pre-record angle.
I really do. I am digging this live stream, and it's pretty cool. We didn't advertise it at all, and there are a few people, so that's awesome. Thank you guys for being here. Mike, Center Hill Cards, you guys are awesome for showing up unexpected, so that's really awesome. But yeah, maybe in the future we will be kind of like saying, hey guys, at this time we will be going live, and then we can get a little party going, and then you guys can see your we can interact, and it can just kind of be like a mailbag episode, but like super organic. I would love that.
That'd be really nice. Yeah, just kind of take questions as they come in for
Yeah.
sure. Might have to do it a little earlier. I think a lot of people are asleep right now, unless
Yeah.
you're on the West Coast or something. So,
Hey, Kevin, I'm wide awake right now. Venezuela just tied against Brazil in Brazil 1-1. I'm hyped up, baby.
is Brazil like the creme de la creme of soccer? I guess with Ronaldo. I'm
yes,
soccer illiterate. I'm sorry.
It's creme de la creme. Brazil is like always one of the best, and then Venezuela just tied in their home field. I can take 17 more mailbag questions. Hit me, Kevin. Let's go.
There we go. Well, how good is Venezuela in soccer traditionally?
We're the only country in South America that has yet to go to a World Cup. Bolivia's gone once, but we have gone 0 times. So we need
it'd almost be like USF football playing Alabama football.
And then beating them.
Tying them.
It's like, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Tying them.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's wild. Congratulations.
Thank you. I'm hyped up. Yeah.
Holy cow. Maybe y'all need to recruit Randy or Raiko or Rosarena.
Hey, Raiko, let's
Venezuelan
go.
citizenship, and then you'll be on your way there. So
maybe.
All right. Yeah. All right. This final question from Chase, our buddy, says, I know you guys are upset with the playoffs, and I am upset with starting the playoffs on Tuesday afternoon. I want next year the Wildcard Series. I lost my train of thought. The Wildcard Series to start on Thursday afternoon and have a big wildcard weekend for most people who are out of the Tampa Bay area. For example, Chase lives in Gainesville and could not attend the games during the early middle portion of the week. Great show for this season. Do you have any clue when you will start the player review process for the offseason?
Chase, OG listener, thank you so much for always listening to the show, watching the show, supporting the show. You're awesome. I do want to say something that Chase, before we get into this, Chase did tell me that I hadn't had the opportunity to do so. Randyland was awesome. Love the race for doing that in Tropicana Field. I hope that for people that need assistance, we can get Randyland seating for people that might need assistance, such as Chase. He told me about his experience at Randyland and that it would have been way more of an enjoyable thing for somebody that might need that, extra space. And so that would be really cool for the Trop to do for the next season. Not I don't want to like, oh, they're so bad. I'm just saying like that would be just an added benefit.
Just something to think about. Again, whenever something is done the first time around, you're going to learn things and experience things, and you can make improvements and tweaks for next time. So I think that's something that they can look at as they refine, special sections, or, we're going to do Randyland this next year or whatever. And definitely when you get to the new stadium, maybe you make sure those parameters are in place as well. So, I mean, the Randyland thing was awesome. We just wanted to be accommodating and welcome to everybody with that. So if there's any Rays front office folks or stadium ops folks, just passing that word along, we can provide more information if needed. So, that out of the way. Yeah.
Chase, usually the season will end on a Sunday, which means the wild card weekend dream is never going to happen, bud. I'm sorry. It's just not. There's just no way. Unless you can think of some.
Can we just start the season a day or two later and have the regular season end on a Monday or a Tuesday?
You could. I don't think MLB would like the regular season of a 162 game season to end on a Tuesday evening.
But what does it matter now if it ends on the Sunday versus the Tuesday? Because everybody's watching football on Sunday anyway. When you get to this point, so,
you know what?
I'm with Chase. Find a way. Hey, maybe give these teams and these players that have earned a spot in the playoffs, give them a couple extra days off. I don't care.
Yeah.
Who gives a rip? Let's just start the playoffs on Thursday and really make it an event, because I can just tell you there's there's definitely a better feeling about going to a game and dealing with the traffic and crossing the bridge and just the whole, it's a late night. You're more willing to stomach that on a Thursday, Friday, Saturday versus a Tuesday, Wednesday, maybe Thursday. I mean, Thursday is basically, weekend light for many of us out there. So I am all for and with Chase on doing that. And maybe if the playoffs for the Rays, the Wildcard Series started on that Thursday, you would have 23, 24, 25,000.
Oh, 100%. 100. I mean, this is the thing. I mean, I think, Mike, if you've got the time, you can put some effort into this, but and Michael Lords, I need somebody with enough time and with enough Rays fandom in their blood and enough knowledge of attendance issues at the Trop. What happened? Because it's not a simple, it was a 3 p.m. game. It's not just that. It's the bridge. It's not just that. It's not. I think it has to also, like, a factor that we haven't talked about enough. It's like when you go to the playoff 5 times in a row, have people forgotten that the playoffs are awesome and that they're not to be taken for granted?
Right.
I think there's also that factor of like, oh, I'll just wait to buy tickets for the ALDS. It's fine. I'm not going to go to the wild card game. I'm saving money for the ALDS. I think that's also a factor. There's so many things that went into the low attendance in this year's playoffs. I don't know. I feel like I really hope somebody that has enough time and knowledge about it that could do that.
Yeah, I would have said, this is something that may have made sense. Like if the Buccaneers had a Monday Night Football game or they were playing on a Sunday at home and people were already spent and worn out and didn't have any more disposable income to allocate towards a baseball game, I'd understand that. But the Buccaneers were on the road on Sunday, October 1st. So
Baker was
bacon was a bye. So
where was Baker bacon? New Orleans?
In New Orleans.
And he won that game.
Yeah, 26-9. Yeah. So I mean the Monday before, I mean the Bucs played the Eagles. So
regardless, the point is, Chase, I think it would be a fantastic idea. I don't think it's going to happen. I would support it. I don't think it's going to happen because ultimately MLB also doesn't care about the wild card as much as the ALDS and the NLDS, which they want to start on the weekend.
That's true. Yeah. Although I like wild card weekend has a nice ring to it, but it's all about, they've got television contingent that they have to compete with and rally about as well. There's just a lot of thought that has to be worked out and organized. And it's unfortunate. I mean, it is what it is. Let's see this last comment here from Mike. I drove twice for 45 minutes from Clearwater to see my team go down quick. At least I got to see an old friend. Okay. Yeah. Oh, man. Well, Ulises, give credit to you. You did more than many out there. You actually made the trek, the lengthy trek from the Hillsborough side, the Pinellas side to watch a Rays playoff game.
And thank you. And all I want, and you all know what I want. I want those damn 4 questions to be answered. Okay?
That's what are those 4 questions? Tell me.
Oh God. Why the long leash on Glassnow?
Oh, yeah.
The Taylor Walls, the Manny Margot, and the bullpen guys, the high leverage bullpen guys not being used.
There we go. All right. Thank you for the mailbag questions. We'll be back next week. Maybe some of those questions, Ulises, that you put forth, maybe they get answered or were answered in the Rays press conference.
No, they weren't. I saw it.
Oh,
they
weren't. You watched all 45 minutes?
I watched the whole Rays press conference waiting for somebody to ask any of these 4 questions. Nobody did. I might have to give a hard time to my buddy Evan Klosky about it. But Yeah, none of those.
Or
4
grill
questions.
Klosky directly.
Huh?
Grill Klosky directly. Posit those 4 questions to him and see what he has to say about all that.
Hey, he's not Kevin Cash, so I'm sure, but it would be nice to see what he thinks about those 4 questions.
Yeah.
Maybe we can get him on the show soon. I know he's really into hockey and Bucks stuff right now, so it'll be tough to get him on, but we will get him on soon. Center Hill Card says, I imagine as a player seeing home playoff attendance so low doesn't help to get hyped. Honestly, Pete Fairbanks kind of hinted at that. The post-game conference, he's like, yeah, the dugout wasn't hyped at all. Like, I think that was a subtle way of saying, like, damn, we're in the playoffs and nobody came to see us.
Yeah, it's really disappointing. It's the antithesis of what's going on in Philadelphia right now, where you have 45,000 people in red and white waving towels and screaming and singing songs.
And they've had that before. We've had the yellow towels going. We've had Troptober. The loudest I ever remember Troptober being, I know people will say the relay, and they're almost right. It's not. It's Kevin Kiermaier's 3-run shot in that game. That in that ALDS. That was the loudest I have ever been at the Trop. And then for you, anybody that says, no, it was the relay, you're wrong. I was at the relay game too. So no, it was at the 3-run shot by Kevin Kiermaier.
Look, I mean, a home run is going to surpass a defensive play every day of the week and twice on Sunday. That's just how the cookie crumbles. I'm sorry.
Exactly. Yeah.
And you know what? Here's last thing, and then we'll jet out here. The attendance, if the Rays, I know it's like, you can't say it, but if you know that, oh man, it's going to be a light crowd, 19,000 for a freaking playoff game, start giving tickets away. Do whatever you have to do to fill the Trop. Go to all the local schools and hand out tickets.
Yes. Go to high schools.
Give them to the teachers. Give it whoever, whatever you can to fill up that facility. Do it. I mean, maybe those extra 6,000 people that didn't pay to grab a seat will buy a concession at least.
Look, you go to downtown St. Pete and then just like with a bunch of tickets, be like, hey, are you guys interested in a playoff ticket? I bet a lot of people would be like, yeah, heck yeah. That's awesome. Oh, hey, Argenis Rashad, long time OG listener. Yeah, that would be fantastic. Look, we're running long. So all I want to say is this is our first truly live show. Mm-hmm. I've had a heck of a time seeing you guys pop in out of nowhere. That means so much to I'm going to speak for both of us, Kevin. That means so much to both of us that you guys are here and you're on live with us and you're sharing your thoughts and we're interacting at the same time, seeing your comments pop up. Like, that's so cool. I think we should be doing this way more. It isn't that difficult to be live, and that's so cool. And I hope that you're down to do this more often.
We're boomers. We're still getting the hang of this technology thing. I've got the potatoes working today, so it all is contingent on if the potatoes keep the Wi-Fi going and the lights on.
Yeah, so. Exactly. No, but we will try to do this more often. Obviously, this was just not given out on social media. We just said, hey, between us two, we said, hey, let's go on this time, and we'll do it. And I'm glad that it worked out. And next time, there will be more people because we will put it out saying, hey, we will be going live at this time, and we'll get it all sorted, and it'll be super, super fun. And I think we should do like an organic mailbag thing, and I think that should be super fun.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Maybe have a canned mailbag question or two, and then just basically open up the phone lines and let people react as such, and then we just give our honest take and reaction. So
exactly.
Awesome. All right. Hope you all have a wonderful day and a wonderful weekend. Stay safe, and we will talk to you next week.